So we're here at Fintech Connect, second day. It's been a really busy day. Maybe you can just give us a little bit of an overview of what the company does.
Sure, we're an applied tech company. We kind of sit right in the middle of the big traditional financial institutions on one side, the fintechs on the other side, the disruptors, and then the big tech, which are the third players in the ecosystem, and we enable transformation and modernization for this ecosystem.
Okay, that's really interesting. So, how long have you sort of been around? How long have you been involved in?
We're a 20-year-old, a little over a 20-year-old company. We were started by ex-bankers, both on the business side and on the technology side, to provide modernization, consulting. How can the banks become more efficient, better? Was the original genesis. We still continue with that deep tech mindset of how innovation can be driven in financial services.
Okay,
and that really is the ethos of the firm.
Okay, so you obviously, with that level of experience, you would have seen a lot of trends that have happened over the years.
Yep.
So what does sort of innovation mean to you in the financial space?
I think we're going through generational maturity. On one side, an analogy I like to put is we're making the horse run a little faster. So how are you improving on the technology with the use of robotics, with the use of AI, machine learning, so that you can offer a better experience to your end customers? And on the other side, you've got the big tech, which are very technology first, immense amount of horsepower in data, really looking to solve unique problems and how they can apply that technology. So we're seeing a shift come from two sides of the equation, and that's the generational maturity I was talking about earlier today.
So before we were talking earlier, we were talking about fintech and techfin.
Yeah.
So obviously that's something that you're probably quite familiar with and within
Sure,
the
I
industry.
think there's a big debate that's going on as to what is the next 3 to 5 years gonna look like. Will it be the fintechs that will evolve victorious, or would it be the tech fins that will come and disrupt the financial services industry? And then the role of the traditional bank, what is that going to be? And I think we've got to go back with the fundamental ways of how each one of them are approaching the problem statement. As I said earlier, the fintechs are still operating within the structured ecosystem. They look for a problem statement and they see how they can better that up. Digital banking, as an example of that.
Yeah.
Go to the other side and you look at the tech fin guys, and they're like looking at using data to solve problems in non-linear fashion. Look at Amazon. They produced The Man in High Castle, which is an alternate history as a genre, for $65 million. And they went and acquired 1 million new prime customers. So at $65 per customer acquisition cost. And they say, when we win awards, we sell a lot of shoes. And when we sell a lot of shoes, people apply for a lot of credit. When people apply for credit, they actually buy our credit cards, right? And that's the non-linear way of how the enroachment is taking place within the financial services community, initially with trade and commerce. So that's really what the big debate is. And where does that leave the fintechs, and where does that leave the traditional banks who are burdened by a lot of regulation and burdened by a lot of legacy?
It's a really interesting subject, and it's something we could talk about for a long, long time. The rise of the challenger bank, or the bank challengers, the now incumbent banks that are releasing their digital-only banking institutions as well. It really is a fascinating trend, I think, that's going to continue. So just for a final question, because I know you're a very busy man, Fintech Connect, you've been here today. What's the one thing that you've seen during this show that you think is going to be of interest going forward?
I think for us personally, this has been a great event from a collaboration standpoint. There are some very innovative fintechs out there solving problems in a very unique way. They may be small problem statements, but it's like, look at it like a block of Jenga. You know, you could take a block out, which is probably working in a traditional manner, and replace it with a new Jenga block, which is the new age way of doing things. It could be digital only, it could be data-led transformation. So for us, as we go from a generational 1 maturity to a generation 2 maturity, this has been a great way for us to find partners to be able to provide a better value proposition to the large banks that we work with, which essentially still form a big piece of our bread and butter business.
Yeah. Fantastic insights. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you for your time.